Hey guys, Colin speaking, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite extinct steam locomotive classes. Starting off with the Atlantic coastlines are Northerns. The Atlantic coastline needed new locomotives to replace their Pacifics on passenger service, so they turned to Baldwin Locomotive Works for some R1 Class 484s. They were built in 1938 to power passengers between Richmond, Virginia and Jacksonville, Florida. They were known as the 1800s and were the only modern steam locomotives owned by the Atlantic coastline. During testing, Locomotive 1800 accelerated a 20-car 1,500-ton passenger train from a dead stop to 70 miles per hour in 11.5 minutes and 11 miles. They were capable of hauling 21 heavyweight passenger cars and exceed speeds up to 80 miles per hour, but later racing to 90 miles per hour. Although they were capable of handling 100 miles per hour on mostly level and straight mainline trackage. After World War II, the ACL eventually required diesel locomotives, placing the R-Class Northerns into fast freight hauling service. This until they were retired in the 1950s. Sadly, unfortunately, none of these engines were preserved. They were all retired and scrapped between 1951 and 1952, ending their career rather quickly. But at least we got the Lionel and MTH models, as well as a few HL brass models of these classic Northerns. Number 9. The Santa Fe 282 Mikados. When the Santa Fe needed more pulling power than their rugged 280 consolidations, they turned to Baldwin for some 282 class Mikados. One notable known Mikado were the 3100 and the 3129 class Mikados, dated from 1913 and 1916, weighed about 220,200 and 226,300 pounds respectively, and shared 50-inch diameter drivers. These 282 locomotives were handled freight haulers on the Santa Fe for many years, until eventually they were retired and replaced by diesel power. More Mikados followed in the 4000 class series in the 1920s. These used to pull freight, but they were sometimes notable for pulling passengers. But however, none of the 282s from the Santa Fe have been preserved. Two notable Mikados, number 3167 and 4076, were eventually attempted to hold up a Kansas River bridge during a flood in July of 1951. But however, the bridge supports gave way, and 3167 and 4076, along with a prairie-type locomotive, had sunk into the Kaw River and had never been recovered at all. Although some parts of 3167 were salvaged, the rest of the locomotive was left to rot in the river forever. Even though most of the Mikados of the Santa Fe are gone, I would like to preserve Santa Fe 4001, since it was featured in There Goes a Train, as well as Santa Fe's Loaded for War promotional film. Then we can have a 282 Mikado from the 18SF in the 20th century. And that was part 1 of my top 10 favorite extinct steam locomotive classes. See you next time in part 2.